Well, good morning to everybody out there in internet land. Hi, and how are you doing? Yeah, I'm still a little froggy, but I'm just froggy enough to be here. Thank God for that. The alternative would not be quite so much fun. My name is Brian Trippett. I am known in social media as the Front Porch Conservative, and you have found your way to Front Porch Brunch. A little thing we get together on the weekends and do. We talk about the news, we give our views. We try to help each other make it through this crazy thing that we call life. And otherwise, try and get ready for another week of the insanity that is the world in which we find ourselves. We are on YouTube. We are on Rumble. We are on Twitter. And if you wouldn't mind, and I would really greatly appreciate it, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, why don't you just go and give me a sub? You're going to wind up doing it anyway, because you're going to listen to my witty banter and my fabulous repartee and realized, I like this guy. Why don't I just go ahead and help him out? Why don't I just hit that subscribe button? Exactly. Why don't you just go ahead and hit the subscribe button? Make yourself a whole lot happier. You'll feel better doing it. I promise. Really. And while you're at it, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment in chat, do all those things that you do. As the legendary Jack Buck used to say, go crazy, St. Louis. And don't just stop with St. Louis. Everywhere. It could be in America. It could be in Mexico. It could be in Canada. Everywhere all over the world. Hit that subscribe button on Rumble and YouTube. You'll feel better. I know I will. Anyway, again, my name is Brian Tripp, and I'm the Front Porch Conservative, sometimes known as the wise guy in the wide brim. On occasion, I'm called the common man with common sense, but I am above all else, in this moment, as always, your host. Again, we are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, and we are on that quaint little alternative social media platform known as YouTube. So please consider giving us a subscription. Share it around with your friends, hit the thumbs up, do all those crazy things that you guys do to make this going little concern a going big concern. Oh my goodness, so good to see you guys. Oh my gosh, what's it been? Wednesday? Yeah, it's been Wednesday. So a little while since I've been here trying to get over this crud that I've got. And I had some other things going on too. Attending the funeral of an old family friend on Thursday, and saw some people in my life that I have not seen literally in decades, and all that goes along with that. So I am on the mend. WWG1 over on Rumble says, you sound like you're feeling better. Slowly but surely, I'm getting over this thing. It's just a pain in the rear end. But I'm getting there. So yes, thank you for noticing. I do feel better. I'm still a little croaky, a little nasally, but otherwise the energy levels are getting back to normal. Give me about a couple more days and some antibiotics, and I think I've got this thing whipped. But anyway, glad to have you all here. Hang on one second, and I'll be doing this frequently throughout the broadcast. There we go. That's better. Good to have you guys here on a Saturday morning. I cannot believe it's the Saturday before Thanksgiving. That blows my mind. You're reaching a certain point in life when you start using the expression, where did the year go? It's like, oh boy, really? Yeah, there you go. All right, let's see who's here. Say hello to everybody. Z Highness is in the house. I'm going to miss the stream. Getting my hair done. Mwah. Well, mwah to you. And darling, we know that you're just, you call it getting your hair done. We call it hotness enhancement. Okay. So honey, you just go enhance all that hotness all you want to. We are greatly appreciative. So you will be missed, but we still love you. My crazy Canadian Adam is in the house. Good morning. Good morning to you, sir. And a big fist bump. Let's see who else is here. Nancy Mace can't make it today. Her fiance was feeling a bit well, oh my goodness. Well, these young kids these days, what are you going to do? My goodness. Anyway, All right, let's see who else is here. Good morning, lovely Lana. Mwah. Let's see. Good morning, Gypsy. How are you? Mwah. Let's see. I think I've got everybody caught up on the YouTube side. All right, let's see who's over on Rumble. Well, the wing nuts are here. TBA says, good Saturday morning, front porchers. Brunch is nearly served. And WWG1 has been up to his memeing. So we have lots of different things he's provided this morning. So good to have you guys here. Glad to have you guys in the house. Couple of housekeeping announcements for next week. On Wednesday, my good friend Tracy Barkley, the proprietrix of the Gen X Marks the Spot channel, is coming back on my live stream. We're going to do kind of a Thanksgiving themed session of chatting. After we got done with the live stream Wednesday, we kind of kicked it around and said, look, we're going into Thanksgiving Day. There's not going to be a whole lot of major news going on out there. I said, why don't we just kind of do a Thanksgiving thing and just kind of talk about traditions and stories and things that we do, stuff like that. So I'll tell you what. If you guys find certain Thanksgiving related stories between then and now, tag me on Twitter with them, okay? Or drop me a DM. That's perfectly fine. I'm going to give you this disclaimer up front. I cannot guarantee that I'll use everything, but we may as well just have some fun with it. If you guys have certain family traditions that maybe are best represented with a meme or whatever, just send them my way, and we'll consider using them on Wednesday. So we'll just make this fun for everybody. Now, on that same vein, speaking of fun and positivity, I am delighted to announce, and I did this on Wednesday, this coming Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, one of my absolute favorite content creators has agreed to come on the channel. I got to reach out to her on Monday and just make sure we're still game on. But absent something that I don't know, then I am very happy to report to everybody that the lovely and gracious, the Persian Princess of Positivity, Nina Infinity, is going to be here 6 o'clock Tuesday night. I've always said that there is a list of content creators and folks in my head that I really want to get on the channel, and I have been, sort of really dying to get Nina on here, and just hopefully, the start of a beautiful, one content creator to another relationship, and maybe friendship comes out of it. I have no idea. Hope it does. But yeah, I am really, if you don't know anything about her backstory, this is probably one of the most amazing chicks you're ever going to talk to. And I mean that in all sincerity. And I can just hear somebody say, well, you say that about every guest you bring on. No. They're all unique. Hers is truly unique, given where she was born, where she started, where she is now, geographically. And then you get into things like, occupation and content creation and everything else. I mean, she is just a bundle of joy and just a load of fun. If you've watched any of her live streams or seen stuff she's participated in over the years, you're going to know that we're going to have a good time Tuesday night. So please plan on being here 6 o'clock Tuesday evening. The lovely Nina Infinity is going to be here. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Canadian nerdy babe. Well, that's probably good. That's one good way to describe her. Yes, there you go. Over on Rumble, we have someone. I'm not sure if they've either been here before or it's been a while since I've seen them. Eden's Refuge. Good morning. Well, good morning, Refuge. Or would you prefer to be called Eden? I don't know which, but either way, we're glad you're here. Welcome to the house. We're going to hang out together for a while and talk and enjoy each other's company for a little while. So there you go. All right, let's just get down to it. We will begin, as is our wont, with the Merry Memes section of the show. Now, for Eden's Refuge, or for that matter, anybody who's never really been here before, we usually start off with a whole series of funnies. back in the day, Warner Brothers had the Merry Melodies in the cartoons. We have the Merry Memes. And these are provided by regular listeners of the Electronic Front Porch. And sometimes I come across them and I just think they're daggone funny, and everybody thinks they're funny. So I'm like, you know what? Let's all have a laugh if we can do it, or find a way to chuckle. Okay. So with that in mind, I've got a few here that have been provided by WWG1. I've got some provided by Gypsy and others. So hopefully you'll get a chuckle out of this. You'll get a smile. I know I have. And with that, here we go. The legendary playwright George Bernard Shaw once made the remark that the British and the American people are two nationalities separated by one common language. Now, if you think upon listening to that statement that George Bernard Shaw was maybe not quite sure of what he was speaking, not necessarily true. I mean, here in America, we use a word or phrase to describe something that the British also have, but they use a completely different word or phrase to say the exact same thing. I mean, for example, in America, we call them fries. In Great Britain, they call them chips. In America, we call it an airplane. In Great Britain, they call it an aeroplane. In America, we call it a subway. In Great Britain, we call it the underground. In America, we call it memes. In Great Britain, they call it 2 years in jail. Whoa, wait a minute, hold it. What the heck is this? A meme gets you 2 years in jail in Great Britain? What the actual? Oh my God. Well, okay. Okay, enough of that. Yeah. There are some true differences between Great Britain and America. Eesh. Oh boy. All right. Look, for all you ladies out there that have taken to some extreme measures when it comes to the now re-election of Donald Trump to the presidency, I just want you to know, y'all need to cut this out. And I'm not just saying this because of what it's doing to your appearances. I mean, look, there are videos out there of y'all shaving all the hair off your head, walking around looking like a a cue ball. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, look, it's bad enough you're doing this to yourself. Okay. What's even worse is it's now spreading. I mean, good Lord. Robert De Niro wasn't very pretty to begin with. Now he's going so far as to do this. This is just getting out of hand, folks. So, you ladies out there, I'm just saying, cool it. Because I don't need to be looking at this. So, my Lord. Good grief. Good grief. Well, hello, Gerald G. Sumnor. Well, hello, Gerald G. Welcome to the Electronic Front Porch. I don't know that I've ever seen you here before, but we're glad to have you. Enjoy your time here. Feel free to fellowship. Weeze is a friendly bunch. So glad you're in the house this morning. So there you go. Welcome, welcome indeed. All right. What else do we have in the way of the Merry Memes? Yes. Now, this one, I said a moment ago that there are great differences. There are great differences between the British and the American people. Well, there are also great differences in terms of how Americans and Canadians handle certain issues. Now, seriously, if you stop and think about it. And you wouldn't think that would be the case, given that we are, so geographically close to each other. Okay. And I don't know. The Canadians just have a very strange way of handling things. Okay. With that said, this one, I don't know, man. I don't know that I want to get depressed in Canada. If this is the Canadian solution for depression, it seems to me just a little bit extreme. I don't know about you guys, but yeah, that's a little tough. That's a little tough to swallow. That's a little tough to swallow. Um, you know, what do you say? What do you say? Eden's Refuge says, I found that most of the women that are shaving their heads to make themselves, quote, less attractive didn't need to do that to begin with. LOL. Eden, uh, you've now put me in an interesting conundrum as a host because you've said something that I should really agree with. However, for the sake of not having a bunch of harridans show up on my front door protesting me with their bald heads, I should probably let that one pass. So I'm torn between the two extremes. Yeah. Woo! Oh my goodness. My goodness. Oh, anyway, Gypsy, thank you for both of those memes that we just took a look at. Genuinely appreciate it. All right, what else do we have here? What else do we have? Well, this one's provided by our crazy Canadian Adam. And now I don't know if this was a real headline or not, but he sent this to me. And I just died laughing when I saw this. And you know what? You know what? I'm just going to let it speak for itself. You know, Target gets a lot of grief, but this may be one of those moments. This may be one of those moments where somebody at Target, I don't know why they did it, but they may have helped out their company more than they possibly know. I mean, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. If it's not a real headline, it's got to be one of the funniest things I've seen in a while. If it is a real headline, I'm going to fall out of this chair laughing. Okay. Anyway, yeah, it's just, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Too funny. Oh, let's see. Moving on. Oh. I'm sure you all have heard the news by now that actress and comedian Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi, they've been together for many, many years, have decided to move to Great Britain. No. This is not a joke. Apparently, this is a legitimate story. They've made the decision with the re-election of Donald Trump to move to Great Britain. Now, I will say this, and I'm being absolutely serious with this comment. I give them a lot of credit. I really do. They are one of the few celebrities, if I may use that term, that they're one of the few celebrities that actually kept their word. Now, you can say they're right, you can say they're wrong, whatever, but they did it anyway. However, I would like to point out something to Ellen and Portia that perhaps they may not have considered. I do hope they realize that even though they're moving to Great Britain, it does have a very strongly Islamic sort of influence. So if you're moving there on the grounds that you think you're going to be safe, and don't get me wrong, I want you to be, but if you're moving there on the grounds that you think about you're going to be safer, I'm just saying, you know, you might want to rethink that one. Anyway, Chris from My Morning Mayhem is here. Good morning, folks. Looks like I came in on a pretty fun story day. Yes, you did, sir. We're glad to see you in the house. Oh, and by the way, for listeners who are here and you're not subscribed to this guy, go find his channels on Rumble and YouTube. Give him a sub. This guy puts out some really, really good content. He's just a hell of a nice guy. So, when I come across those on my travels across social media, I'll always give him a shout out. And I'm not just saying that because he's here. I mean, I do genuinely mean it. Give a sub to My Morning Mayhem. Just a genuinely, genuinely good guy. So, all right. Glad to have you in the house, sir. All right. Moving along. Now, Thanksgiving is coming up. And let us be honest. Everybody in one form or another is going to be kind of like, stepping on eggshells to like, can I talk about this with some of my relatives? Can I not talk about this with some of my relatives? That said, a comedian recently gave some really good advice about maybe a topic you ought to try to avoid at Thanksgiving with your relatives. Especially if they own a particular kind of automobile. And with that, as always, give me a sound check. Let me know if you guys can hear this. But I really do hope you enjoy this because I got quite the kick out of it myself. Again, give me a sound check. Let me know if I'm good here.
My favorite thing about the election is a lot of liberals were driving Teslas. And now they're fucking trapped. Dark MAGA Elon came out. Gotcha. The T on the back is for Trump. You funded the last 6 months of the campaign. And they can't get rid of them because Republicans are like gasoline. I can just see people now with a Sharpie at night going up to it. R-U-M-P. You're not going to be able to look at a Tesla without thinking about that ever.
I don't know about y'all, but that's pretty good. Yeah, exactly. They got a Tesla. So I was like, son of a gun, I'm making the payments on this thing. I can't even oh my God. Exactly. Hello, small time. Makes sense. Then you're able to change it. Well, there you go. There you go. Oh my goodness. Too daggone funny. Too daggone funny. Now, I don't know what it's like in your guys' neck of the woods, but one of the things that happens around here in West Virginia during the week of Thanksgiving, and it's a very old tradition, and it goes back probably, I have no idea how many decades, okay? But especially where the schools are concerned, we will coordinate school being out for the week of Thanksgiving. But because of the time of year it is, we will coordinate hunting season around school closures. Now, for some of y'all out there who are watching this, who might be of a leftist persuasion, and let's just be honest about it, y'all are watching my live stream. You just don't want to come out and admit it. Okay? And that's all right. That's all right. There's going to be a day when you're brave enough, to pop a comment in chat and say, I'm a lefty, but you know what? I agree with you. And you know what? We will be loving and accepting of you on the day when you finally do say that. But you lefties out there, I can just hear y'all right now. I can't believe you're taking the time, kids out of school, let them go shoot guns and kill deer in the woods. Yes, we do, by George, and we're proud of it. Okay. And in West Virginia especially, okay. In West Virginia especially, it's a thing. We will literally let schools out, and so kids can go hunting either by themselves or with their parents, especially deer season. Okay. Now, that said, some hunters are more successful than others, And some are so talented, they don't even need to use a gun. And if you don't believe me, check this out.
Coming at you. Coming at you. Oh my God! What happened?
I just got that on camera. Did he really? Sweet catch. That was cool.
You're daggone right. Look, okay, most hunters are so bad with a shotgun, they couldn't hit a bull in the fanny with a bag of rice. This guy's so talented, he just like, whoop, pulled him right out of the air. Now that's cool. That's absolutely cool. So yes, Thanksgiving is coming up. We're gonna be eating, we're gonna be hunting, and we're trying to figure out, what do you say around your relatives? Well, I give you one word of warning. Okay? One word of warning. Look, if you are prone to get loose at the lips anyway, but you're able to restrain yourself because you don't drink any alcohol, then here's my advice. Okay? Do not go to a Thanksgiving dinner where you got relatives who are lefties and then start hitting the beer. Because if you do, you're going to have this kind of stuff happening to you.
Let Trumpomania run wild, brother. Let Trumpomania rule again. Let Trumpomania make America great again.
See, you're going to be three or four beers in. You're going to start ripping off clothes. You're still wearing that Trump Vance t-shirt from the election. Probably got some body odor on it by now because you've been wearing it for so long. And then you're just going to kill the whole vibe of your Thanksgiving dinner. Look, and you know what? If I didn't love you so much, I wouldn't bother to take the time to give you this public service announcement. So there you go. Oh my, are you serious with this? I believe you, but it's just like, they arrested an 18-year-old senior in high school for bringing a BB gun. $100,000 bond? Oh my Lord. Whew. Jeez. My goodness. That's sad. Saw Hogan a couple of weeks ago at a grocery store. He was there to promote his Real American beer. Well, good for him. All right. Glad to see the old Hulkster still out there working it. I'd like to see him hustling. All right, that's the Merry Memes section of the show. Let's get down to some news stories that I want to talk about, and hopefully you guys have seen. What? BB guns have been considered dangerous weapons since Is this just Connecticut? Is that just in the state of Connecticut? Oh my goodness. Bless your all's hearts up there. My goodness, indeed. All righty. It's been a little while since I've had a chance to talk to you guys. And, stuff's been shaken loose, as is wont to happen. The news gods will wait till I'm down and out, down for the count, ill, and then they start popping off stories. And I'm like, couldn't you just wait long enough for me to get well so I can come back and talk about this? No. So I'm going to be doing a little bit of catch up, but even in the catch up, I'd like to think I've got some comments that, I'd like to kind of put out there and get you guys' take on it. Well, the Trump administration has suffered its first casualty of political war. In that, Representative Matt Gaetz, Republican of Florida, had resigned his seat in Congress and was about to be nominated officially for the Attorney General spot in the Trump administration. And then, unfortunately, late Thursday afternoon, we got this piece of news, and it was not good at all.
You guys always seem to get all the breaking news, right, on America Report. So this brand new news breaking just moments ago on social media, and we're trying to see exactly what's going to happen here in Palm Beach, Florida at Mar-a-Lago, where the Trump transition team is working hard as this all just came out. I just got off the phone a short time ago with a member of the Trump transition team who was telling me they want to make something very clear here, that they say former Representative Matt Gaetz came to this conclusion on his own to drop out. Okay, so that just coming into our newsroom a short time ago. They say, though, in this post, according to the former president and now President-elect Trump, this: I greatly appreciate the recent efforts of Matt Gaetz in seeking approval to be Attorney General. He was doing very well, but at the same time did not want to be a distraction for this administration, for which he has much respect. Matt has a wonderful future, and I look forward to watching all of the great things he will do. But this comes, as Chad was explaining, after he seemed pretty optimistic just yesterday. I mean, it was just hours ago out there in Capitol Hill, walking around the Capitol Hill area and those hallways with a smile on his face, saying that he thought the meetings went well, but then posted that he had incredible support, but that the momentum was strong, but it was just becoming a big distraction. So distraction seems to be the name of the game here.
Okay, I want to stop right there. And I want to talk about this for a few minutes. Okay, small time, that's a fair point. Okay, that's a very fair point. Some people make the argument that Gaetz resigned to keep the ethics report from coming out. I'm not so sure that that would have been the case. I mean, look, in the end, the ethics committee votes on the question of whether or not to release the report. Well, they did, and by a 5-5 vote, they couldn't get a majority to do it anyway. So whether he'd been in Congress or not, I'm not sure that the report would ever come out. I'm not sure what his motivations were for resigning from Congress. On the other side of that, some people say, well, he resigned, in the anticipation that he was going to be appointed. Okay. Eden's Refuge over on Rumble says, could DeSantis appoint him to Rubio's seat? He could. I mean, it's not been decided yet who it is that that DeSantis will name, and I guess we won't officially know until the vote takes place for Rubio to be confirmed by the Senate as the next Secretary of State. So yeah, he could appoint him. It would be fascinating if he did. Man, you talk about Mitch McConnell having a stroke. That'd probably be a good way to make him do it. And by the way, let's get into the subject of Mitch McConnell for a minute. Now, as y'all know, if you're regulars on the electronic front porch, I have no great love for that bottom-feeding scum sucker, Mitch McConnell. Yes, I said bottom-feeding scum sucker, because that's exactly what he is. Laying aside the question of judicial nominees and getting them approved, which he's great at, he's about useless for everything else. I'm just giving you my take on it. I don't like McConnell. The way he operates to me is just no. Not in this era, not in this time. No. So, what actually happened to Gaetz? Why? I give him credit. I really do give him credit. Okay? Gaetz was out there working it. Okay? Well, yeah, I probably am being too kind to him, but, it is Thanksgiving, and I'm trying to foster a spirit of, peace, love, and friendship. For what that's worth. Anyway. Gaetz was out there working it. J.D. Vance was out there working it. Everybody's out there working it. They're meeting with senators. They're going around. Gaetz is glad-handing with everybody. Meetings are positive. Momentum's building. It looks like, Gaetz is going to be able to power his way through. He's going to get AG. And then all of a sudden, Thursday morning, he withdraws the nomination. Why? Now, keep in mind, what I'm about to show you next is not confirmed, but the guy providing the intel, I trust. Jack Posobiec, editor of Human Events. According to his reporting, Mitch McConnell was a hard no on Gates, along with 3 other senators. Murkowski of Alaska, Collins of Maine, and Senator-elect John Curtis of Utah. Now, if that last name doesn't sound real familiar to you, John Curtis is the senator who is the senator-elect who is replacing Mitch McConnell. Now, I have no great love for Mitch McConnell. I've got probably about the same amount or less love for Mitt Romney. And back during the primary out in Utah, I was backing a young man named Trent Staggs. And for what it was worth, Trent Staggs is a mayor out in Utah, MAGA conservative Republican. I mean, he would have been the perfect fit to replace Mitt Romney. John Staggs is an old school, establishment. He was a congressman. He's already elected. But he was establishment. He's everything else, yada, yada, yada. Well, unfortunately, John Staggs wins. Well, and I said at the time, I was like, I hope this does not come back to bite us. Well, here's the first teeth mark. And it also gets to something else that just makes me angry where McConnell is concerned. Mitch McConnell, in one sense, is just like what Kevin McCarthy was when Kevin McCarthy was leading the Republicans in the House. If you'll remember back to the 2022 election, Kevin McCarthy got a Republican majority. Barely. But he did not get a conservative majority. Well, Mitch McConnell is now part of the majority again. Guess what, folks? We've got just enough Republicans in the Senate to be in control and not have any control at all. What am I talking about? It's this. There are 53 Republicans in the Senate now that Dave McCormick is officially the senator-elect from Pennsylvania. Bob Casey conceded. McCormick wins the seat. On down the road we go. 53 Republicans. Guess what? That means people like McConnell, Murkowski, Collins, and if anybody else joins them, anything Donald Trump wants to do has the potential to either be watered down or out and out killed. Now, I'm not trying to depress anybody on a Saturday morning. I'm just trying to be realistic. Okay? And I'm also trying to be realistic with what I'm about to say next, because it does need to be said. And it's this. The biggest problem that Donald Trump is going to have in the next 4 years, as far as Congress is concerned, is not going to come from the Democrats. It will come from Republicans in the House, and more particularly, Republicans in the Senate. Let me say that again. The biggest problem that Donald Trump is going to have in the next 4 years is not going to be from Democrats. I mean, because Democrat going to Democrat, okay? They're going to do what they do. I expect that. All right? The problem he's going to have in terms of his agenda, getting it through Congress, is he's going to have a problem with Republicans in the House, but his biggest headache is going to be the Republicans in the Senate. But Front Porch, we've got a majority. Yeah, you've got a Republican majority. That doesn't necessarily mean you've got a MAGA majority. Okay? This is why I was tearing my hair out when Eric Hove in Wisconsin, Sam Brown out in Nevada, and and Kari Lake in Arizona when they went down to defeat. Because I had a feeling what was going to happen. And now, if what Posobiec is reporting is true, okay, if what he's reporting is true, then here's the proof of why I was worried. Let me pop this back up on screen and let you guys see it. If Posobiec is right, and these 4 senators, McConnell, Murkowski, Collins, and Curtis, if they're the ones that cost Matt Gaetz the Attorney General spot, then folks, the deep state or the establishment, however you want to look at it, they just got their first scalp. They just got their first scalp in what's going to be a 4-year war of attrition with Donald Trump. This is why, for so many other reasons, and I know in one sense Donald Trump can't do it directly, but God, I would have loved to have seen Rick Scott become majority leader. Because there needs to be a serious house cleaning. Not just in terms of who makes up the Republican caucus in the Senate, but also particularly what's called the National Republican Senatorial Campaign Committee, the NRSC. They are responsible for electing Republican senators. But when you've got it staffed with a bunch of people who are, how shall I say this? When you got it staffed with a bunch of people who are Mitch McConnell loyalists, when they're not going to help Donald Trump get the kind of people he needs in the U.S. Senate. Kari Lake went down to defeat. Sam Brown in Nevada went down to defeat. Eric Hove, well, jury might have still been out on Eric Hove, but he still would have been better than Tammy Baldwin, the Democrat incumbent. Mitch McConnell got a Republican majority, and worse, he got just enough of a Republican majority to maintain control and have the potential to stymie certain parts of Donald Trump's agenda. Okay, fair point. Fair point. I don't know that I'd call him a ridiculous candidate, maybe not as good as others. The thing that I would have liked to have seen Gaetz do, he had at least to listen to him, he had an absolute zeal to go after the Justice Department, to clean it up. Would he have done it? No idea. But that was something a lot of folks were looking forward to. Oh, and Gypsy, this is a great point. Yeah, now not only did McConnell potentially, short circuit Matt Gaetz, but he also now is the chairman of the Senate Rules Committee. And he's the chair of a appropriations subcommittee on defense, which means that he has the potential to swing a lot of things, like them or not. Good morning, Zippy. How you doing? Has drive and zeal. That means he has a pulse. Politicians hate the living. Can't disagree with you there. And Jardam from Great Britain. Hello, Jardam. Glad to have you here on the porch this morning. Greetings from across the pond, my friend. Eden's Refuge says, Mitch the Glitch would short circuit, LOL. Maybe some of the nominees are part of an exposure op to make the rhinos expose themselves to normies. All right, fair point. Possibly. Could be. Well, that's what happened to Gaetz. But almost immediately, and I mean almost immediately, within Gaetz withdrawing his nomination, Trump had a new AG nominee up. And with that, we go to the pages of justthenews.com. Donald Trump announces Pam Bondi as new nominee for Attorney General after Gaetz' withdrawal. The former president applauded Bondi's reputation as Florida's first female AG and a former prosecutor of 20 years. By Misty Severi, we have the following. President-elect Donald Trump on Thursday announced former Florida AG Pam Bondi as his new choice for Attorney General. The nomination comes after former Florida Rep Matt Gaetz withdrew his name from consideration in order to avoid distracting from Trump's new agenda in January. The former president applauded Bondi's reputation as the state's first female attorney general and a former prosecutor of 20 years. Quote, "For too long, the partisan Department of Justice has been weaponized against me and other Republicans. Not anymore," Trump said in a statement. Pam will refocus the DOJ to its intended purpose of fighting crime and making America safe again. I've known Pam for many years. She is smart and tough and is an America First fighter who will do a terrific job as Attorney General. Okay, all right. Now I'm gonna tell you guys up front. I don't know a lot about Pam Bondi except that I hear the name. However, I do have a couple or three questions, and let me preface this by saying these are not in any way, shape, or form meant to be disparaging of her. Okay? They're really not. Question number one. Why did Trump and his transition team put somebody up so fast? I mean, I kind of get the argument, and that is, all right, you don't want too much grass to grow under your feet and give your opposition time to dig in. In other words, keep them jumping. Okay, fair enough. So why did you put somebody up so fast? Question number two. I could think of at least two other people, three probably, who would have been really, really good at running AG. Ken Paxton of Texas, the Attorney General out in Missouri, and his name is escaping me right now. Hang on a minute. Hang on, I can probably find this real fast. Andrew Bailey. There it is. Andrew Bailey of Missouri could have been a really good choice, especially on questions about censorship and free speech. Okay. Or Jeff Clark used to work in the first Trump Justice Department back between 17 and 20. Okay. All of them are brilliant minds. All of them tough as nails. Paxton, I honestly thought Paxton was the front runner. So, I don't quite understand why Pam Bondi. And again, I am not trying to disparage her. Does that mean I necessarily agree with her on everything? No, not necessarily. I mean, and up in Connecticut brings up a very valid point. Bondi, apparently people down in Florida don't like her. Or at least some don't, put it that way. Yeah, well, yeah, and see, I just don't understand why Pam Bondi. I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, they talk about all the baggage that Matt Gaetz had. Okay. Yeah, you can get her approved, probably. Okay, here's one possibility as to why Trump picked her. Could be. But why Bondi? You had two or three other really, really good choices out there. Why her? I mean, yeah, would she have been loyal? Okay, probably will be, as far as I know. But I just don't get it. I really don't. Zippy over on Rumble says, Bondi is a puppet. As AG, we will need a whip and a pistol to make her go after the deep state BS. Now, see, that's the worry that I've got. I don't doubt she's not going to be, I mean, I don't doubt her smarts, and I don't doubt her toughness. I doubt, and Larry Swikert said this better than I ever could, her priorities. With Matt Gaetz, I knew what Matt Gaetz wanted to do. He wanted to clean out the Justice Department. He wanted to reform it. How much of that are we going to get with Pam Bondi? You know, that's the part that I'm worried about. Eden's Refuge over on Rumble says because they were prepared and Gaetz wasn't intended. Could be. TBA says, yeah, but we need someone who's going to gut the deep state in D.C., not play pattyfoot with them. Yeah. Oh, I know. And this, I'm going to get to this. I'm going to get to this here in a second. Okay. Old Jeb came out of the woodwork. So yeah, we'll get to some of that here in a second. But I just don't get why Bondi. To me, if you're wanting to have somebody, I mean, look, an attorney general working for Donald Trump, or you can maybe now argue any Republican, is going to have to be what Eric Holder described himself as when Barack Obama was president. He's going to have to be the president's wingman. Okay? So I get that part. But this attorney general at this time in history needs to be more than someone that's going to have their president's back. Okay? It's going to need to be somebody that's willing to go in and reform Department of Justice, because it's just got all kinds of problems right now. And I'm being very kind in saying that. Unequal application of the law, persecution of the innocent. I mean, you know, we could all sit here and go down that list, you know, for the whole rest of the day, the problems at DOJ. All right. So why her? If we're needing an attorney general that has got the fire in the belly to go after reforming this institution, is this really the person to do it? Jury is still out. Now, as far as her ability to be confirmed, according to people that know around D.C., they think it's going to happen. I've got a clip here, runs about a minute and a half. This is Mark Halperin and some of his folks from the show called Two-Way, The Morning Meeting.
I think this is on a glide path to confirmation, maybe even getting some Democratic votes. Dan, what do you think?
I completely agree with you. I mean, she's kind of a traditionalist Trump person, if that is, it's a little bit of an oxymoron, but, you know, she's got a long track record. She's been a Florida attorney general. I think there'll be deference to that. And where people, I mean, if you start picking apart her biography, that it's not, you know, strong enough, like, I think you get into some dangerous elitist territory a little bit. So I agree with you. I think she sails through, and, you know, as people have said, I'm not sure why she wasn't picked, you know, to begin with, but here we are.
Trish, you think she sails through, and you think she'll get any Democratic votes?
Yeah, I think she sails through. I don't know if she'll get any Democrat votes, but what I do think is interesting is when you hear the conversations, at least in the media, that it's starting to go from, of course, the personal allegations and investigations of Matt Gaetz to kind of more the macro argument, which is that Pam Bondi is just going to be a loyalist and that she's going to weaponize the DOJ. So, I mean, that's a good sign for her, because anyone who Donald Trump appoints, that's exactly what they were going to say, that this person is going to be his retribution, and that he's going to try and take down his political opponents using it, which I would like to point out that I think Merrick Garland and Joe Biden did that. So it's kind of, are they looking in the mirror? But that's another story.
And by the way,
no, kind of the same
will go to their graves that they didn't do that, and Merrick Garland dragged his feet forever. Like,
well, until 20.
Problem, right? It's the total irony.
So yeah, it looks like she'll sail through. And yeah, this is the worry. This is the worry. We need an attorney general that will reform the Department of Justice. I am not convinced yet that she's the lady to do it. Well, good morning, Duke. Glad to have you here. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Well, all right, 7 out of 7. Gerald says, all right, fair enough. So yeah, I mean, opinions are going to be divided on this. And again, as I've always said with you guys, if it turns out I'm wrong, I will be the first one to come back and tell you I was wrong. But I don't know. I don't know about this one. And you know, all of us to one degree or another are emotionally invested in this stuff, because after what the American people have suffered for the past 4 years, you know, there is a palpable desire for change. Okay. And we want to see it happen. And we want to see it happen immediately. So I get it. I just, as with all these, they make me nervous. But well, anyway, I got some clips here from Pam Bondi herself. And, you know, just talking about various things that are going on. Here's one of them. And I'll let you guys make some determinations for yourself. So, take a listen. Tell me what you guys think.
When Republicans take back the White House, you know what's going to happen? The Department of Justice, the prosecutors will be prosecuted, the bad ones. The investigators will be investigated, because the deep state, last term for President Trump, they were hiding in the shadows. But now they have a spotlight on them, and they can all be investigated.
The question is whether or not actions follow the rhetoric. And if she does, in fact, do something that we've not seen in modern times with the head of the Department of Justice, which is use that very powerful agency to go after a president's political opponent.
Oh my God. I know that this lady is a law professor. I'm sorry. In my mind, this woman is proof of something that my dad said a very long time ago. The world is populated with educated idiots. And she's an educated idiot. Anybody that has the nerve to sit there and say that the Justice Department, you know, at a minimum for the last 4 years has not gone after their political opponents, and, you know, they've been very neutral and even-handed in their application of the law, is either a liar or an idiot. I'm not going so far as to say this lady is a liar, but she's certainly an idiot. And she is an educated idiot. So, Dad, once again, you're right. Anyway, back to this clip. And here we go.
That obviously is not what we're accustomed to. It's not what we've seen in the past. It's quite arguably not what the Department of Justice is there to do. But again, I'm looking not really so much at the rhetoric, but at the actions.
Well, if it's any consolation, madam, we're looking for the actions too. And at this point, we're just not convinced. One more Pam Bondi clip. And this is from an appearance, I guess, on Hannity. So check this out.
I want to know why AG Garland and the Justice Department are so quiet on this tonight. You know, they're out there labeling parents domestic terrorists, yet they're saying nothing about this. And these documents were so slow to come out. Human trafficking is a multi-billion-dollar business in this country, and Jeffrey Epstein is dead, and Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison for 20 years where she belongs. And if people in that report are still fighting to keep their names private, Sean, they have no legal basis to do so unless they're a child, a victim, or a cooperating defendant by some chance against some potential case against Ghislaine Maxwell. And I think Mark Garagos, as a great criminal defense attorney, will back that up as well.
You know, Mark.
Okay. Oh, so the law professor is not an idiot. Well, okay, maybe. Okay. Yeah. Oh, they're bold-faced lies. Yeah. Eden's Refuge over on Rumble says, yeah, I'm not stoked about the Pam Bondi choice. Makes my spidey senses tingle. Yeah, Eden, I can't disagree with you. Now, for all my nervousness and all y'all's nervousness about the Pam Bondi for AG choice, she does have her supporters. That said, given who the supporters are, if I was nervous before, now I'm scared to death. When you get this kind of an endorsement, that ought to terrify MAGA. It really should. Now, there's also something else to consider here. I mean, and for the sake of discussion, I got to be fair and talk about this. Okay, there's who I really want to get in, and then there's who I can confirm. And again, this is just making me nuts. Thinking back to the election, there were at least 3, maybe 4 more Senate seats if you throw Mike Rogers in there from Michigan. At least 3 or 4 more seats that the Republicans may have been able to pick up if the freaking NRSC would have just put some effort into it. Oh yeah, they gave a few million to Sam Brown at the end. They gave Kerry Lake nothing. As far as I know, they gave Eric Hove in Wisconsin nothing. If we'd have picked up 3 or 4 more Senate seats, Matt Gaetz sails right on through. I'd be shocked if he didn't. But like I said, much like 2022, Mitch McConnell has got himself a Republican majority. Unfortunately for MAGA, that doesn't mean we have an America First majority. So, very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. However, there are people on the left who are very, very worried about Pam Bondi. From MSNBC, check this one out.
Pam Bondi is exactly what I was saying in the last segment that we should all fear, because she's competent. We may not agree with her ideologically, but she knows how to do this job. So if anyone on the Democratic side or anyone who cared about liberty or justice was thinking, well, maybe Matt Gaetz will screw this up and that'll give us some time. No, Pam Bondi knows what she's doing. She knows what she's doing about immigration. Remember, Florida is one of those states that's been very aggressive about migrants and deportation and moving people to different states and everything else like that. Florida has enacted all sorts of rules and laws to curtail students and what they can do on campuses and finding legal justifications for manipulating education money. She is a dangerous and effective pick, and that's frankly worse than what we would have got with Matt Gaetz, even with the deplorable moral background that he has.
Yeah, and I want to discuss that with a little more depth with both of you, including her record on civil rights, LGBTQ rights, and other issues that are front and center at the DOJ, and which we know were also big campaign issues this summer.
All right. It's a mixed bag on this one, so take it for what it's worth. TBA says MSNBC is up for sale, or so I heard. I also heard that Don Jr. and Elon are interested. TBA, hold that thought. Hold that thought. We're going to get to that. Zippy says ZMOG is the end of the world, and AG is following the law. Okay. For Surgeon General, I was hoping for Dr. Bombay. Okay. Yeah, y'all hold those thoughts about MSNBC, because we're going to get into that during HodgePodge too. Anyway, that's where we be with the AG. So we'll see what happens, folks. But I am not going to lie. I mean, and again, this is no offense to Pam Bondi. None at all. I would have loved to see Matt Gaetz get in there just to see what he could do with Department of Justice. Anyway, let us move to a different compartment of the train, as it were, and we'll go on to another topic. But before we do, let me do a real quick commercial. since it's the bottom of the hour, we're close to it. My name is Brian Trippett. I'm the Front Porch Conservative, and you have found your way to a live stream that we call Front Porch Brunch. We get together on Saturdays, usually starting at around 10:30, and hang out together, talk about what's going on, give our comments about it, support each other where we can, disagree where we must, but with respect and love all the way around. And if this is the sort of commentary that you like, the kind of place you like to hang out, do me a favor. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel on Rumble and on YouTube. I am like that close to cracking 1,000 on YouTube. It's almost there. So any help you could give me, I would really greatly appreciate it. Subscribe on Rumble, subscribe on YouTube, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment in chat, share the link around with your friends. It's all greatly appreciated. Really, I would really, truly, truly appreciate all your help. And we'll see what we can do about growing this little channel. All right. Oh, now, wait a minute. Now the wingnuts are taking off over on Rumble about this Surgeon General pick. Doctor Who, TBA says, Doctor Who could be a good Surgeon General for all the good it will do us, or even Dr. Stephen Strange. WWG1 says, can we get Dr. Feelgood? TBA says, well, what about Bruce Banner? Or WWG1's Dr. Fraser Crane? Or Dr. Niles Crane? Oh, forget. Or Dr. Poole. Jeez. My audience, ladies and gentlemen. Now, Eden's even getting in on this, saying Reed Richards is flexible. Shh. She's here all week, folks. Try the veal. Anyway. Well, speaking of cabinet picks, and TBA's like, the wingnuts rule. Yes, you all do. Frighteningly, might I add, but you do rule. Anyway. Speaking of cabinet picks, there are some breaking news over the past 24 hours about various slots that are being filled up. And one of them is Treasury Secretary. Scott Bessent has been nominated by Trump, which, all right, pretty good choice from everything I'm given to understand about the guy. As with all of these picks, I take them with a grain of salt going in. I have hopes for the best, but let's take them with a grain of salt. Mr. Eustace Haney for Secretary of Commerce. Green Acres is the place to be. Farm living is the life for me. Oh, goodness. Eustace Haney. God, there's a name I haven't heard in years. Jeez. And yes, folks, I am just old enough to know exactly what he's referring to. So, have mercy. So the Treasury Secretary nomination is now in place. Department of Labor has now been slotted. Representative Lori Chavez DeRemer from Oregon. And again, I don't get why Trump is pulling people out of the House. Again, his choice, but it's like, maybe it's a seat where they think, okay, we can fill it with another Republican, we'll be okay. We'll see. But yeah, she's been tapped as the Department of Labor Secretary. And according to folks from Just the News, got a few others laid out here. This is from Misty Severi at justthenews.com. President-elect Donald Trump announced a series of crucial nominations Friday night, including tapping NFL veteran Scott Turner as Secretary of Department of Housing and Urban Development. Now, here's the one, however, that to me is key. Russ Vought. Y'all may say who? Russ Vought to return as the director of White House OMB. The announcements come after Trump nominated Lori Chavez DeRemer as Labor Secretary and Scott Bessent for Treasury earlier Friday. Turner previously served as the executive director of the White House Opportunity Revitalization Council during Trump's first administration, which the former president claimed had resulted in an unprecedented effort that transformed our country's most distressed communities. Scott will work alongside me to make America great again for every American. The former president highlighted Vought's success as his OMB director during the first administration and said he was looking forward to bringing him back to the White House. Vought's nomination is considered more controversial due to his role in the Heritage Foundation's Project 2025. Quote, Russ has spent many years working in public policy in Washington, D.C., and is an aggressive cost cutter and deregulator who will help us implement our America First agenda across all agencies. Russ knows exactly how to dismantle the deep state and end our weaponized government, and he will help return us to self-governance to the people. Trump also named former State Department official Alex Wong as his principal deputy national security advisor and assistant to the president, who will work alongside National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. Dr. Sebastian Gorka was appointed senior director for counterterrorism and deputy assistant to the president. Trump additionally named several health nominations, including Fox contributor Jeanette Neshewat as Surgeon General and former GOP rep and medical doctor Dave Weldon as the director of CDC. The current health of America is critical, and CDC will play a big role in helping to ensure Americans have the tools and resources they need to understand the underlying causes of the disease and the solutions to cure those diseases, Trump said. Dr. Marty Makary was nominated as the next FDA commissioner. There you go. So, okay. So here's some news. Yeah, some of these make you scratch. I'm not going to lie, Gypsy. Some of these actually just make you scratch your head. Yeah, and this might, well, hang on. This might be why, again, not there. I'm not inside the circle, so I can't tell you guys. Duke says, oh, okay. So Duke, you're out from there in Oregon. Okay. Chavez DeRemer is my rep. She's all right. Just lost re-election in a blue district. Oh, okay. So we're not necessarily losing a Republican seat anyway. All right. Yeah, Gorka's back. Gorka's back. Oh, is that what's going on? Because I was half expecting Carson to get named to something. I didn't know he was battling health issues. That's a crying shame. Yeah. I did not know that. I'm very sorry to hear that. Very sorry to hear that. Huh. Yes, people have had this criticism of Makary. Yeah, we shall see. We shall see. But there's one job, and there's still a few of them hanging out there, so don't get me wrong. But there's one job that everybody's talking about, and no one has heard Donald Trump mention a name, and that's the director of the FBI. Now, a lot of people, myself included, and anytime somebody asks me, I will always tell them, I want Kash Patel. Well, see, I dropped this subject, and the wingnuts over on Rumble, they're already all over it. TBA says, Kash Patel for FBI is going to send the libs right over the precipice. Eden's Refuge says, I'm eagerly awaiting FBI director. She agrees with TBA. Yes, I'm with y'all on this. I am all for Kash Patel. Okay. And even on the YouTube side, yep, I'm with you, sister. I'm with y'all on this one. We are in total agreement on this. Okay, I get it. That said, however, one of Gypsy's favorite people is also in consideration, or let's put it this way, has been reported to be in consideration for this, and that is Mike Rogers. That's right. Former congressman from Michigan. He just ran for the U.S. Senate. And supposedly, Mike Rogers is in consideration to be named as director of the FBI. Now, Look, y'all know me. If I've got a take on something, I'll tell you exactly what I think. Not just no, hell no. Not that I've necessarily got a say in this process anyway, except to say what I'm going to say, but no to Rogers. Hold that thought, Gypsy. I just saw your comment. We'll get to that. Now, if you're wondering why I've got such a problem with Rogers and why a lot of conservatives, and not even necessarily America First MAGA people, okay? We're just talking, constitutional conservatives, why they have a problem with Mike Rogers. Let me show you an ad that Justin Amash put together when he was running against Mike Rogers in the 2024 Michigan primary. And if you're wondering why everybody's got a problem, then you might want to hear this.
And I credit George Bush and his administration for assembling this new intelligence community. They passed the Patriot Bill that allows and takes the handcuffs off our intelligence services. Policymakers back here use words like illegal wiretap.
The domestic surveillance program of the NSA. It could be abused.
We're already seeing pressure on the Patriot Act that maybe we don't need it now. Couldn't be further from the truth. The bulk telephone metadata program is legal and effective. Provisions of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act expire at the end of this month. We need to rapidly reauthorize these provisions, and we need to work toward making these tools permanent as a part of our arsenal. Self-restriction, big problem in U.S. intelligence collection. We're the only intelligence service in the world that is forced to go to a court. We always joked in the intelligence space, we would love to get 1/10 of what Google has on you.
I supported these programs when they were classified, and I support these programs today.
Well, folks, now this is what I call a ringing endorsement. But I got to tell you, if Frank Drebin were available, he might get the nod over Kash Patel. Just saying. Well, folks, we got some good news, at least where the possibility of Mike Rogers is concerned. According to Dan Scavino, and y'all mentioned it, some of y'all mentioned it on the YouTube side, and Dan Scavino is one of the closest advisors to the president. And again, take this for what it's worth, because we're not going to know until we know. But supposedly, Trump has said, nope, not even giving it a thought. It ain't happening. So, okay. To me, that's a sigh of relief for the moment. I do not want Mike Rogers. It's bad enough the establishment got the scalp of Matt Gaetz, and I do not like what's been done. Here's my thought for what it's worth. Pam Bondi is not my first choice for Attorney General, but team her up with a Kash Patel? Okay, not my ideal pairing, but that could work. So, but as it stands right now, Mike Rogers is out of consideration. Thank God. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second here, folks, to clear out a few tabs now that we've updated all that. Okay. And we'll get that out of there. TBA over on Rumble says, Dan put that Twitter post out because MAGA was losing their minds over the prospect of Rogers as FBI chief, in my opinion. And make Matt Gaetz a special prosecutor. We've got a team. That's not a bad idea either. I've heard that floated around. If Matt Gaetz can't be the attorney general, could somebody name him as a special prosecutor to go after something? I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that at all. So can't disagree with you there. All right. Tell you what, folks. Could you all give me about 60 seconds and I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. I'm still here. Be right with you. Talk amongst yourselves. Give me about 60 seconds, and I will be right back. Okay, yes. Thank you very much. My kingdom for a camel's bladder, okay? Jeez, give me a break. I love you guys, but seriously. All right, hang on. Let me get a sip of water here. All right, there we go. All right, back to work. Okay. Have you guys heard about this advertising campaign that Jaguar, the British car manufacturer, is involved in now? You know, okay, let me take you back in time. Bud Light, and this broke out. This broke out when I was just starting the channel back in, I guess it was 2023. Yeah, in 2023. Bud Light made the decision. Well, let me rephrase that. And a middle level advertising executive at Bud Light made the decision to employ Dylan Mulvaney for the purposes of trying to move their product forward. The backlash that Bud Light got off of that was just awful. I'm not even sure if they've even recovered fully from the boycott that's happened. I mean, it's been a while since I followed that story, but I need to see some numbers. But I mean, there was a while there, they were just suffering, man. I mean, they're just getting hammered. You couldn't have given away Bud Light. Okay. Well, and you would have thought that most manufacturers, whatever the product may be, okay, you would have thought that they would have learned their lesson. And I'm not saying they have to stay exactly the same, but if you're targeting a particular demographic of people that you want to buy your product, I'm not saying don't innovate. That's not what I'm saying at all, but you kind of know who you're trying to get to buy your product. Hence, you're going to, make your advertising be a reflection of that understanding. Jaguar apparently lost their minds, okay? Oh, well, hold that thought, small time. We're going to get to that too. Hold on to that. But I got a story here from NBC News. British car maker Jaguar reveals glossy rebrand that features no cars and confuses the internet. The storied auto group is attempting an ultra-modern, ultra-luxury relaunch after years of flagging sales. Now, you read that headline and you think to yourself, okay, all right, that kind of makes sense. I get it. Sales are down. People aren't buying the car. Maybe we shake things up a little bit. Yeah, but it's what they did that doesn't make any sense to anybody. And with that, here you go. Article written by Rob Weil and Jenny Reed. We have the following. It's certainly eye-catching. A group of multiracial, gender-bending models emerge from an elevator in cutting-edge makeup and bright-colored clothing to a techno-industrial beat in an austere, prismatic landscape. But one thing is missing from the storied British carmaker Jaguar's new rebrand: the cars. The spot has drawn some reactions online that range from puzzled to dismayed, with several commentators comparing the potential fallout to Bud Light's use of a trans influencer in straying far afield from its core demographic. One communications professional on Twitter called the advertisement disastrous for being overly focused on branding and not the product itself. Quote, Jaguar should be saying some version of our cars are engineered to the gills and go very fast, wrote Lulu Sheng Mizaveri, co-founder of Rostra PR Group. Art school grads simply aren't associated with elite engineering ability. I'm sorry. On Friday, Jaguar responded to the flurry of reactions. Quote, our brand relaunch for Jaguar is a bold and imaginative reinvention, and as expected, it has attracted attention and debate, the company said in response to a request for comment from CNBC. As proud custodians at such a remarkable point in Jaguar's history, we have preserved iconic symbols while taking a dramatic leap forward, the business said. The brand reveal is only the first step in this exciting new era, and we look forward to sharing more on Jaguar's transformation in the coming days and weeks. Okay, that's the story. Now, have you guys seen the ad? Guys, it's a 30-second ad, and this one is kind of going to blow your mind, okay? So, with that, check it out, and we'll talk about it here in 1 second. Okay. All right. Yep. You're having the same reaction. You're having the same exact reaction that I am. I don't get it. I do not get this at all. Eden's Refuge over on Rumble says, it's gross. Zippy's like, my eyes. Yeah. WWG1 says, looks like a liberal arts final exam. Can't disagree with you. Can't disagree with you at all. And for the record, I can't disagree with the criticism. Where are the cars? You're supposed to be a car manufacturing company. Don't you think if you're going to try to get people to buy your cars, they ought to know what the car looks like? I mean, seriously? Yeah, really. Yeah, unbelievable. Just, I don't get it. I don't get it. And by the way, we're not the only ones that don't get it. Did you see what I sent you? Okay, hang on a minute. Somebody just sent me something. Give me a moment here. Lovely Lana just sent me. Oh, okay. Okay. Hang on a minute. I just found Atlanta. I just found it. Let me pop this up here. Well, apparently that ad we were just looking at has already been modified. And folks, fear not. The folks at Jaguar realized that they just screwed up, and they're already in the process of fixing it for everybody. So here is the addition. Okay, for the record, that's better. Oh my God. Still though, oh Lord. Zippy over on Rumble with a Rumble rant. Thank you very much. The high-end car brands like Jaguar are not making money. That's why a huge conglomerate bought them up. It's just soulless IP to make the IP portfolio look good. You know, yeah, and this is a good point too. I saw up in Connecticut drop this in a minute ago. They're rebranding to target the ultra wealthy. The cars start at about $100,000. Note, memo to Jaguar. Guys, look, all right. I get that you can make a car that costs $100,000, but when you've got a piss poor economy, not just in the United States, but around the world, do you really think the problem is your advertising or the fact that you're pricing yourself right out of the market? I mean, look, if someone has the money to spend on a $100,000 car, knock yourself out, baby. Go for it. On the other hand, I don't really see that the problem is your advertising as much as it is your price. You've got a product that's priced too high in an economy that really sucks. Now, again, I'm just a guy sitting behind a microphone and a camera on the internet giving my opinion about stuff. But I don't know that you really took the right tack here. And by the way, we're not the only ones that feel this way. I got a story here from autorevolution.com, and this one's got some good commentary to it. Headline: Jaguar bewilders its fans with shocking rebranding campaign that nobody understands. Article by Christian Akatagi. We got the following. Jaguar is in the midst of an earth-shattering rebranding campaign that's left the internet confused about its message. Unlike previous campaigns, no car is shown in the visuals accompanying the new branding, prompting industry veterans and PR heavyweights to dismiss Jaguar's PR efforts as a failure. The author writes, I wasn't necessarily a Jaguar fan, although I followed the brand over the years and enjoyed driving some of their sports models, most notably the F-Type. I wasn't a fan of the XF, which I considered too bloated, but overall I appreciated the diversity Jaguar was bringing to the luxury car segment. That's why I was curious to see what the new rebranding was all about, so I checked out their media website. It was unusually colorful, with a bunch of people looking far too serious for what they were wearing. I scrolled down to see more, but it was more of the same. To my confusion, no car was involved. Although I expected at least a teaser for the upcoming concept Jaguar will unveil next month, I decided that somebody hijacked the press page. So I returned to what I was doing with the thought of coming back later. It turned out that I was wrong, and Jaguar was solely responsible for this hijacking. What's worse, the website still looks the same today. What the heck is going on? Jaguar, a car maker with a history that spans over 100 years, suddenly decided its image was to blame for the brand's disappointing sales performance. To fix the problem, the British car maker ditched everything from its ethos to its logo and its lettering, and shocked everybody with a bizarre PR campaign. This saw the familiar Jaguar symbol, which has endured since 1945, replaced by a visual package that seems to copy the fonts used by Smart in its logo. So yeah, we're not the only ones sitting here looking at this going, really? Well, okay, fair. All right, fair point. Fair point. Yeah. Where are the cars, as in where's the beef? Zippy says fancy car brands get by with repair, and a new car that's bought pays for the next 10 cars on the assembly line. It's like Hollywood. Can't disagree with you, friend. Cannot disagree with you. Now, again, it's not my company, not my cars, not my business in one sense, but I don't see that this is going to benefit these guys. Part of the lure of owning a car like this is you're buying into a tradition, and now you just wadded it all up and chucked it. Okay? So I don't get it. I just don't get it for my part. I don't see it. I mean, for example, look at this. Is that not a beautiful car? Seriously. If you had the money, okay, if you had the money, would you not want to own a car that looks like this? Okay. Now, here's the scary part. With what they've done, oh, well, I take that back. There is a concept of what the new Jaguar is going to look like. But folks, I don't know that this solves their problem. If this is what Jaguar has got in mind to try to fix their issues, I don't know, guys. I think Jaguar may want to go back to the drawing board. I don't know. I just can't see people buying this one. Just can't see it. I don't know. You're supposed to be buying history. You're buying into tradition. You're buying into luxury. And, well, I mean, yeah, and maybe that's the angle they're going for. They put out an ad that's so provocative in one sense that, we're sitting around talking about it. So I can get that, but it's like, okay, if you don't follow it up with something here to show everybody what they're buying, then you've spent a lot of money on production and everything else for something that I'm not so sure how this is going to turn out. So, I don't know. I just don't get it. I really don't. Hang on one second, folks. I had to move something around. Now, everybody's been talking about Bud Light, and I think somebody finally came to their senses over at Bud Light. Have you guys seen the latest ad with Shane Gillis? Oh my Lord, this thing is funny. If you guys haven't seen this yet, I recommend it to you. With that, check this out.
It is not just a fragrance. It is a feeling. It is a passion.
What? Oh, where'd you get a snake?
We are all lost.
Yeah, I'm lost. I'm 100% lost here.
But we are on the edge.
Hey, all right. This is pocket full of snake. Yeah. Hey, I think I'm in the wrong commercial.
What?
Yeah, dude, this isn't right.
Wait, aren't you Andre?
No, I'm Shane. My name's Shane.
Huh. Oh, I see what's going on. You're supposed to be in a Bud Light commercial.
Oh, I'm supposed to be in a Bud Light commercial, not here. So that's why I'm the odd one out down here.
Well, if you're here, Andre is.
I'm in here.
Oh, something is different about you, man.
I just ordered some wings in that other commercial. You think they're going to make it here? You guys like wings? You blue cheese guy? Ranch girl? You're a ranch girl. You guys like blood or something?
Now, see, to me, that's funny. And what has Shane Gillis got on his knee? A can of Bud Light. He's like, it's funny. It's got the product in the commercial in a couple of different places. Yeah, well, and that may be the message that they're trying to send. We're normal. We swear. Please buy our product again. That ad is funny. The Jaguar ad, I don't get it. I mean, I do, but I don't. Yeah, exactly. It's a great ad. It's funny. It's absolutely funny. TBA says, if they came out and said they'd fired Mulvaney and then took back all the money, then maybe. Well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Eden's Refuge says, definitely better than the Dylan person. Oh, I don't disagree with that at all. Yeah, and that's another thing about that ad that makes it so good. It's self-deprecating. It's just people can, this is maybe I'm wrong. People can relate to that ad with Shane Gillis way better. Oh, what the? Is this nonsense? Okay, sorry. People can relate to that ad from Shane Gillis way better than that ad from Jaguar. So, I'll just say this. If Jaguar pulls this off, it gets their sales going up in the right direction, okay. It'll be one of those moments where I come before you again and say, I was wrong. I don't think I'm going to be. WWG1 says, Brian for Bud Light spokesperson. Oh, Lord. No. You do not want me for that job. No. Just, well, and this, Anheuser-Busch might be, they realize how badly they stepped in it. It could be. Could very well be. All right. Give me a second here, folks. I want to shift. We're about ready to go into HodgePodge stew. I just want to make sure I got everything lined up correctly. Just making a couple or three adjustments here. So be quiet, Harry. I'll get to you in a minute. Okay. All right. Got everything set. Here we go. It's 12:15 on a Saturday afternoon. My name is Brian Trippett, and you have found your way to Front Porch Brunch, a fun little live stream that we do on my channel, The Front Porch Conservative. If you're not a subscriber to my channel on Rumble and on YouTube, please consider giving me a sub. I would genuinely appreciate it. All right. HodgePodge stew. Eden, if you've never been here before, let me explain this section of the show. HodgePodge stew are those stories that I think are interesting. I think they're important, but they don't necessarily get the same amount of play as all the big stuff. Some of them are just ridiculous. Some of them are insightful. Some of them I just think are just flat out funny. And with that, that's how we'll get this thing started. So, Bill O'Reilly, God love him. Bill O'Reilly is still out there doing his thing. How old is Bill O'Reilly now? Gosh, feels like he's been around forever. He's an author, television personality. For years, was a long time host at Fox News. 75 years old, and he's still out there doing his thing. God love him. So he's no longer on Fox, but that doesn't mean Bill O'Reilly is done. I mean, he's still out there working. And then every so often he will appear on on News Nation with Chris Cuomo's show. Well, the other night he went on there to discuss Joe and Mika's visit down at Mar-a-Lago and what the real story is behind all that. And in this 3-minute clip, and we're going to play the whole thing because, this is just classic Bill O'Reilly. Number one, he takes Chris Cuomo and his co-host, Stephen A. Smith, he takes them to school. Okay. Number two, Bill O'Reilly gives you an education about why it is he's pretty good at what he does. Number three, he explains to everybody what's really going on. So that's the setup. And we're going to play the clip because, like I say, this is Bill O'Reilly at some of his best work. Check this out.
Go to Mar-a-Lago by Comcast, the parent company out of Philadelphia. They just didn't show up. Okay? And Trump said, oh, this is great. Here they come, going to kiss my you-know-what, and we'll get photo ops, which they did. But Comcast said, you two, we're going to have to try to mend some cliche fences, and you two are going to go in there, and you're going to try to tamp it down. Because Comcast knew the next day they were going to announce that MSNBC is vapor. That is a huge media story.
Why is it vapor? Just because they're spinning it off and putting them in the... Well, they're spinning off a bunch of brands.
There's no spin-off.
There is. It's a spin-off company.
There's no spin-off. See, you buy the propaganda, Cuomo.
Oh, okay.
See what I mean about
I'm just saying what's being reported.
All right.
But what do you know?
Yeah, I know, but why would you believe what's being reported? You want the real story? Here it comes.
Please.
So they're uncoupling their word, Comcast, MSNBC from NBC News. That means MSNBC has no resources at all. None. They're not going to be able to pay these people millions of dollars, Rachel Maddow, whatever she's making. NBC News is saying, we don't want you around. Why? Because NBC News' numbers, Lester Holt and the Today Show, are catastrophe because half the country equates NBC News with MSNBC and they won't watch. So NBC is desperately trying to save the mothership of information, and they have to throw MSNBC overboard. They're not putting anything into MSNBC. They want to sell it. So where's Georgie Soros now? Georgie's buying radio stations. You can get MSNBC for nothing. They'll give it to you. They don't want any more of this. Why? Because it's hateful. Not because it's so far left. The whole NBC Comcast hierarchy is far left. But it's hateful. They hate Trump. They hate people who vote for Trump. Everybody knows that. And you know what's next? The View. ABC News is going to have to cut ties with The View. And you saw that today or yesterday when Sonny Hostin had to read a legal statement in the middle of a segment. The lawyers got Whoopi Goldberg's ear and it said, we're bringing a statement in on a teleprompter. She reads it. So it is over for these far left networks. Done, never coming back. Dracula's stake in the heart. Who benefits? News Nation may, but CNN, which is on the ropes too, will probably get some MSNBC viewers.
Wow.
There you go.
What do you think of that?
Well, I'm certainly not going to accuse him of not making sense.
Now, that's the clip, okay? And we're going to get into that in just 1 second. However, as a host, I would like to address the wingnuts for the moment. Ladies and gentlemen of the wingnuts over on Rumble, I am not ignoring you. I see your comments about pink jock straps and assless chaps. Furthermore, I see your comments about what you think I would look like in either a pink jockstrap or assless chaps, or perhaps even wearing both of them. I am not ignoring this. I'm simply choosing not to comment. Thank you very much. I hope this satisfies any questions that you have about I hope this satisfies any questions that you have about my willingness or ability or both to read your comments. Thank you very much. So, there you go. And now the YouTube side is going, what the hell are they writing over there, man? A bunch of crazy people, assless chaps, and pink jockstrap. It's the Wingnuts, okay? Well, exactly. Both y'all are juveniles at heart. I'm just saying, you know. Now I'm just giving you guys hell over there. So, but no, I am not ignoring what you're typing. Thank you very much. Anyway, getting back to the serious podcast that WWG1 says I'm trying to run over here. Anyway, hey Leah, how you doing, darling? So Bill O'Reilly dropped that piece of news the other day, and you got to admit it's pretty substantial. And he's right; it is a big story. Comcast realizes, look, if we don't get rid of these guys, they're going to sink, the golden goose, which is NBC. And again, I think Bill O'Reilly makes a very valid point. It's not because Comcast isn't trying to get rid of MSNBC because it's populated by a bunch of lefties. Hell, NBC News is populated with a bunch of lefties. It's just gotten so toxic. I mean, he uses the word hate. It's just gotten so toxic over on MSNBC. Comcast is like, we got to get rid of these guys. I don't know what we got to do. Sell them, but we're getting them out of here. Okay. That led to one of the best trolls maybe that's come along on Twitter in a long time. And remember what it was that got Elon to buy Twitter? Remember that? Someone said to him, hey, Elon, maybe you ought to think about buying Twitter. He's like, not a bad idea, or more or less to that effect, okay? Well, then you had this from Donald Trump Jr. So he's commenting upon this November 12th post. Comcast is putting MSNBC up for sale, and Donald Trump says, hey, Elon, I got the funniest idea ever. What's Elon Musk respond with? How much does it cost? I'm sorry. That is absolutely great. Donald Trump Jr. Hey, Elon, I got a fabulous idea. How much does it cost? Oh, can you imagine? Can you just imagine what would happen if word broke that Elon Musk was buying MSNBC? Oh, God. If you thought Elon getting a hold of Twitter was bad, just wait till he gets it. He would get his hands on MSNBC. Oh, it'd be priceless. Absolutely priceless. Hang on a minute. There we go. Straighten you up. Yeah, it'd be. Well, now I'm crooked. Hang on. Down. There we go. That's better. Yeah, it'd be absolutely priceless. Oh my gosh. WWG1 says Elon NBC, XNBC, Troll. We got names coming out here, folks. Yeah, carry a sink out of 30 Rock. Oh, that'd be funny as all get out. Yeah. Could you imagine that? Oh, I saw that too. I haven't got the story pulled up, but I saw exactly what you're talking about, dear. Oh my word. Yeah, it's really funny right now. It is and it's not. There we go. So yeah, which actually, there's one more thing related to this CNBC, and this comes from Cenk Uygur of the Young Turks, but he's got a valid point. And this was from, this was yesterday. Comcast gave Rachel Maddow $125 million over 5 years for hosting one day out of the week. No wonder they're running out of money. These guys are bloated. They have no chance of competing with us in the new world. And I got to tell you something. I do not disagree with Cenk Uygur on this whatsoever. He's right. He's absolutely right. And I can't believe more and more I'm finding myself agreeing with Cenk Uygur. But on this, he's absolutely right. Giving $125 million, what is that? $20 million a year? Yeah, $25 million a year, or whatever it works out to, over $125 million over 5 years. So you can have a host come in one day out of the week and host a show. He's right. It's no wonder they're losing money. That is absolutely ridiculous. Oh, hang on. What is this? What is this, my dear? Hang on. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, yes. Yes, this is pricelessly funny. Oh, this is great. Hang on. I got to put this up here because this is just too good. You guys remember that scene from the Lord of the Rings movie where Bilbo is trying to decide whether or not he should put the ring down or not? Okay. Well, there you go. There's Elon. He's got MSNBC in his fingers. After all, why not? Why should I not just buy it? This image, ladies and gentlemen, is causing people at MSNBC to lose sleep at night. Just saying. Thank you for that one, Lana. I genuinely appreciate it. All right, what else is going on in the world? What else is happening of interest? So, let's see. Where did I? Yeah, there's that. And I got... yes. Yes. Okay, I've got one more thing kind of related to this before I move on. Had you guys seen... Let me make this a little bit bigger. It's not just MSNBC that's got problems right now. Did you guys see this story? The week of November 11 evening news ratings, viewers tune out following election night. CBS was the only network to register a total viewer gain following Trump's victory. People aren't watching them anymore, folks. They're watching us. They're watching us. And I love it. I absolutely love it. And no matter what happens with my channel, I have the blessing of knowing that the future is secure and we're never going to go back in large part to the way news has been structured over the past 40, 50 years. We're not going back to it. We, you and me, we are the news now. Yeah, Eden, you're absolutely right. Elon Musk is absolutely right. We are the news now. So yeah, an amazing time to be alive. I'm going to drop this story from Adweek on both sides, on YouTube and Rumble. If you guys want to take a look at it. Yeah, small time, I think you're absolutely right. I think you are absolutely right. It's gone. At least for a large portion of Americans. And I think even those people that have been watching MSNBC and CNN, they're waking up. It's slow in coming, but they're waking up. Okay. Well, on to our next story. Eden's Refuge over on Rumble says, Anyone notice how Trump has not addressed the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act? Wonder if he plans on using it. No idea. It needs to be addressed, but no, I haven't heard a word yet. We'll see. All right, good news for Trump. And folks, here it comes.
Fox News alert now and some developments in the hush money case of Donald Trump in a New York City courtroom. The New York judge, Juan Merchan, has granted Trump permission to file a motion to dismiss that case. He's already said that he was going to delay sentencing for a little while. He says now that he is going to delay sentencing even further. How long this goes on is anybody's guess at this point. Obviously, the judge is going to consider this motion to dismiss. Alvin Bragg, the Manhattan DA, agreed that Trump's attorneys should have an opportunity to file a motion to dismiss to be considered by Judge Merchan. But here's the thing, is that Bragg and his office are willing, if Judge Merchan does not grant the motion to dismiss, Bragg and his office are willing to wait until January 20th, 2029 to resume this case. They said that they're willing to put it on hold for more than 4 years and then start it all back up again when Trump leaves office. I mean, that is by any stretch of the imagination unprecedented in American judicial history. So very soon, we don't know when Trump's attorneys will file this motion to dismiss, but we should hear very soon. And then we'll get Judge Merchan's decision on it after who knows how long. Jill?
They may be filing it as we speak.
They could be.
Considering they expected this was coming down the pike.
Folks, this case is dead. I have a feeling. I cannot prove it, but I've got a feeling I know what's about to happen here. Merchan is trying to find a way out of this. Okay? If Trump had lost on November 5th, they would have already sentenced him to jail. But how are you going to sentence a president who's about to resume office again? Secret Service isn't going to tolerate him being inside of a jail cell. And you're going to put some kind of restriction on the mobility of the president of the United States? That doesn't even make sense. I think that Merchan is trying to find a way out of this. He's delaying the sentencing indefinitely. He'll let Trump's lawyers submit the motion to dismiss, and Merchan will say, you know what? The man's president for the next 4 years. We're going to dismiss the case. Again, I could be wrong. I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah, he may not even be in office. Bragg might not even be in office as a DA in Manhattan in 4 years. So there's that consideration. We'll see. We will see. Oh, by the by, I mentioned Elon's troll of his thoughts about buying MSNBC. Well, this one is not a troll. This one's legit. And I don't know if you guys heard about this or not. I think I mentioned it the other day. On Tracy's live stream that I co-host with her every other week. Well, I don't know if you guys saw this or not, and I will drop this one in chat as well because this one's kind of big. And if this were to go through, man, this would have some major ramifications down the road. But Chris Pavlovski, the CEO of Rumble, has announced that he'd like to buy Google Chrome following the DOJ's move to force Google to sell it. Pavlovski wants to rename it Rumble Chrome. He sent a message to Google saying, to save you the headaches and years of more court battles, Rumble is interested in acquiring Google Chrome. Now listen to this. Here's the stat that to me is really interesting. 2/3 of internet users prefer Chrome over other browsers. Google has used its monopoly to control, to stifle free speech, rig elections, etc. It's about time things changed. Now, I got to say this. If Pavlovski were to do this, and again, we don't know for sure if it's going to happen, but if he and Rumble got a hold of Google Chrome, woo, it might take them a little bit of time. But as far as people's ability to find information, yeah, and actually see things for themselves, not have Google suppressing stories, hiding stories outright, etc. It might take a little bit of time for it to change. But yeah, this could be a big step in the right direction. So, crossing my fingers on behalf of Pavlovsky and the gang over at Rumble. I hope they pull this off. I really do. WWG1 says Chrome comes free on budget laptops. People are too lazy to download another server. Exactly. Imagine what happens if you get a free speech advocate like Chris Pavlovsky who gets a hold of Google Chrome. It's so widespread in its use. Yeah, he could make a big difference here. Big difference. All right, what else do we have here? Going back to Twitter for a second. You know, everybody said that when Elon Musk got a hold of Twitter, he would just totally ruin it. Harry Enton of CNN recently had some stats that he shared with one of his colleagues live on the air. And this kind of puts to bed all those thoughts about how badly Elon would damage Twitter. Folks, if you haven't seen this, check it out. And while you're checking it out, I will post this on Rumble and YouTube. That way you guys can take a look at the link.
One of the big reasons he bought Twitter/X is because he wanted to make it his own platform, remake it in his own image. And I think this really gets at it. Look at this. The party ID among those who regularly use X/Twitter for news. Back in 2022, 65% of those who regularly use Twitter/X for news were Democrats. Just 31% were Republicans. Look at where we are today. Just a completely different picture. Now it's basically split between Democrats at 48%, Republicans at 47%. And what I should note, Mr. Berman, is this new overall makeup matches the overall electorate far better. And more than that, John, look at where Mr. Musk's net worth is today versus where it was just 2 months ago. He is the richest man in the world by far. 2 months ago, look at this. His net worth was $252 billion. Look at where we are today, $314 billion. He is by far the richest man ever to be on this planet. So yes, he's not as popular. Yes, Twitter/X perhaps is not as popular, but it's a much different platform, one that more represents Elon Musk's, let's say, political instincts, and he is now a far wealthier man. So
yeah, I thought that he was going to ruin Twitter. Apparently not. Apparently, he's made it so that, you know, it's something for everybody. Kind of nice. Yeah, Harry Enton's definitely over-caffeinated. All right. Couple more real quick things. You know, in this era of health and fitness, we're always being told to limit certain things, especially when it comes to eating bread. Well, you know, now it's down to you only should have one slice of bread per day. Well, a couple of ladies apparently found a way to make that actually a tolerable situation. And with that, I hope you guys enjoy this.
Ma scusi, lei che fazzone che è venuta? Che riccia, cosa fai? Che deve fare qua?
I don't know about you guys, but that's my idea of having just one slice of bread, okay? Little bread, little Nutella, you're set. All right, one last thing, then we're going to call it a day. Bring this train into the station. You can definitely tell that we have reached a different vibe when a Catholic priest, Kid Rock, Tucker Carlson, and a bunch of friends get together and start singing about Jesus. With that, I hope you guys get a big old kick out of this. Check it out. I don't know about you guys, but they look like they're having a really good time. Anyway, with that, we're going to bring the train into the station. I want to thank you guys, as always, for being here for Front Porch Brunch. We do this every Saturday starting 10:30 a.m. unless something happens I can't quite get it done. But we'll be back next Saturday morning as you all are out there, rubbing elbows with all them shoppers and trying to survive your first weekend of Christmas shopping. We'll see how that adventure goes. Anyway, we're going to be back Monday night at 7:30 Eastern. And remember, Tuesday night, 6 p.m., we've got Nina Infinity. Wednesday night, 6 p.m., Tracy and I are going to be on my channel doing a holiday-themed pre-Thanksgiving lineup. So, folks, have yourselves a great weekend. I love you guys. Thank you for being the best audience on the internet. You guys are absolutely fantastic. Hit that thumbs up on the way out. Don't forget to subscribe, and please share the link around. Anyway, love you guys. Have a great weekend. And as always, remember the words of that great American philosopher, Tom T. Hall, when he said, "It's faster horses, younger lovers, older whiskey, and more money." Love you guys. We'll see you later.